What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your boy, the real Robb DIggie, in the building for episode 6 in the new millennium. We're still in the 2000s, and we have made our way back to my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, and we're talking about Mr. Jonathan Smith, otherwise known as Lil Jon. Y'all know who he is, the East Side Boys well. Big Sam, Lil Bo made a tremendous imprint on hip hop culture in the new millennium, and lots of great things going on across just worldwide, across sports. You know, if you're a sports fan of Atlanta, it's one of the few times where the Braves won and the Falcons won. Like, oh my God, like this is so dope. Like, so I'm decked out today. Hopefully we keep the momentum going. And y'all already know how we do, you know, on my podcast, you know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely going to pour one up. Y'all already know what this is going into this bottle. Y'all already know what it is, man. We ain't got to ask no questions. I'm going to do a quick cheers from my Atlanta sports teams real quick. And the guest that I have on me, with me rather, for today's show is Capo, aka the General of Atlanta. Now, I just got to talk to Capo a little while ago, and it appears that if you don't know who Capo is and you are living in the city of Atlanta, you might need to reevaluate yourself if you consider yourself an artist. It's definitely someone that is plugged in to the city of Atlanta, knows the heartbeat, knows about everything what's going on. He's been a radio personality between here and Miami. He's done internet radio. He's done A&R. This brother has done it all. And now, mainly right now, his focus is right now, from talking to him a few minutes ago backstage, is working on developing independent artists. So he's doing a lot for music, doing a lot for hip hop music, hip hop culture. And without further ado, I want you all to meet Capo, the General of Atlanta, Georgia. Let's bring this brother in. Capo, what's good, brother? Talk to the folks. What's good? And go ahead and introduce yourself one time, my homie. What's good?
Yo, man, what's going on, man? I appreciate you tuning in, man. I appreciate you having me on this platform. You got to know it's your boy Capo, AR the Streets, DJ Capo, Capo ENT, whichever one you want to call me. You just don't call me out my name. Now, I want to give a pour up too.
Bird, man, salute, my dude. Salute. Love to have the homies have pour up for me, man. I hate it when people make me drink alone on my show, man. I hate that stuff, man. That made me feel bad. Like, man, I can't be the only one drinking on the show, man. Making me look bad up here. Shout out to you, Mons. I know you watching. I love you. But we talking about Mr. What? Yeah. Lil Jon in the building. All right, let me run down the facts, and then we're going to get into the discussion about Lil Jon. So Lil Jon doesn't have a lot of awards, but his impact is humongous, ladies and gentlemen, humongous. So with that being said, he is a one-time Grammy Award, one-time Video Music Award from MTV, one-time American Music Award. We're going to focus on his contributions and his music within the 2000s. He put out 3 albums. The gold one, which is Put Your Hood Up, released in May of 2001, which is a gold album, which has the title track, Put Your Hood Up, Be a remix, Who You With. It's Atlanta to the fullest extent. All right. And then a couple years, actually a year later, October 2002, he put out 2-time platinum, The Kings of Crunk, where I Don't Give a F with Mystical, Crazy Bone, Rep Your City with E40, Petey Pablo, Bun B, 8 Ball. It seems like 8 Ball and NJG were always hanging around the studio with Lil Jon. Play No Games featuring Fat Joe with Trick Daddy. And of course, Get Low with the Yin Gang Twins. You already know what it is. And actually, another unknown fact about the Kings of Crunk is the Kings of Crunk was the highest selling independent album between 2003 and 2004. So they were ruling the independent market in the middle 2000s. And then what Lil Jon and the East Side Boys did is release their 4-mic album from the source, Crunk Juice, one of my favorite albums from them. 2 times platinum, released in November 2004. Y'all know the hits. It starts out with Get Crunk, What You Gonna Do, Real Nigga Roll Call with Ice Cube, Lovers and Friends with Usher and Luda. I mean, I can go down the list. I mean, we already know all the hits. Check that thing out with the Neptunes. And one of my favorites was the grand finale when he brings in MCs from all over the United States to include Jada, Nas. I think Ice Cube was on there. Bun B drops a verse on there. It is absolutely incredible the way he ends that album. And that is the premise, ladies and gentlemen, for our discussion about Lil Jon this afternoon. So Capo, glad to have you aboard, brother. We got the General in the building, man. A salute to you, homie. Salute to you, your movement, everything you're doing for my hometown, my city. And my first question for you, my good sir, is what does Lil Jon mean to hip hop in your interpretation? Let's start with that.
I believe Lil Jon means everything to hip hop. People might not want to give him his recognition. Like you said, he hasn't won many awards, but at this particular time frame and era, Lil Jon was a ringleader as far as all the situations in the culture of music. He featured on everybody's song, every situation. You can go to any club without hearing Lil Jon. He's very diverse. He opened up many aspects of different music. As a matter of, like I said, when I say any club, I just don't mean in black clubs.
Yeah.
Caucasian club, whatever style of music as far as that you thought of, he opened up and did every aspect. So he just didn't subjugate himself to one crowd or demographic of music. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So extremely smart, dope individual. And like I said, set the tone as far as in Atlanta, created a whole different wave and style of music.
So with that in mind, Capo, it's Capo, correct? I want to make sure I pronounce your name correct. I want to get it mixed up. So to go along with that, Lil Jon and Eastside Boys are responsible for coining the phrase or subgenre of hip hop music called crunk music. What is crunk music? Well, it depends upon who you ask. Some would say it's get rowdy. It's a lot of chanting. It's a lot of hype. It's a lot of just very energetic. Get your butt up off your seat kind of music is what it's feel good music. And it's very, it's just electric is what it is. I mean, and like I said, that's coming from my interpretation, but some, and here I'm saying some here to what Capo was mentioning, some people do feel like crunk music destroyed the foundation of what hip hop is supposed to be like. I necessarily don't agree with that, but I do want to hear what Capo's opinion is about this because, and I want to hear this from Capo because Capo has been a radio DJ for a long time as well, a radio personality, playing different musics from all kind of artists from all over the world. And Capo, what were some of the things that you were hearing about? Do you feel that Lil Jon was getting just a little bit of slack from the hip hop community of destroying rap music, or what is your take on that?
Me, just kind of studying the roots as far as hip hop and watching, how hip hop kind of evolved and things of that nature. I feel like hip hop nowadays, everything evolves. So I don't think that we should just be, because I know, how back in the day people talk about, oh, this is not real hip hop and all this and that.
Yeah.
Hip hop grows. I feel like we're no different than anything through time and evolution. So it's always going to be different styles of variation, regardless if people feel like if it's real hip hop or not. I feel like hip hop is a culture. It being a culture, that means no different than our colors. It comes in all different shades, styles, or variations.
Love that.
Especially, in my opinion, different people, of course, are going to express it in different ways. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like this opens up the gateway for a different style of hip hop. Crunk music, again, is still hip hop. It's rap. Like you said, it's that get off your ass, turn up, feel good music. And it wasn't really per se about Lil Jon's, of course, he had lyrics on the song, but it was his beats. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The beats go crazy. The beats, it's going to make you nod your head, automatically. So that's just my personal opinion. Yeah. Again, I can see how some of the old heads, I got a little older now, but the people a little older than me felt like how, this isn't real hip hop and all this and that. But again, a lot of the old heads are not where they need to be right now because, of course, they haven't, networked with the younger generation or getting features that they need to get that booking rate that they need to get. Yeah. So again, hip hop, like I said, I believe is just a variation of all aspects, not just one. So again, it's just the creativity through the aspect of the individual. I'm expressing myself through hip hop.
I love that interpretation, Capo. And the reason why I love it is because one of the key things or key words that you used was evolution. It is the evolution of hip hop. Hip hop is interpreted in different regions. Down in the South, Lil Jon took his interpretation and made it crunk music, which is fucking phenomenal, right? I mean, he talked about music for the clubs. He talked about chanting. I mean, some of the strip clubs in Atlanta owe Lil Jon a check too, but we're not going to get into that. You definitely made music for all genres, like Capo mentioned. Didn't matter if it was the hip hop clubs, the pop clubs, any top 40 club, any club you went to during that time, you heard and you heard what was it? To the window, to the wall. You know what I'm saying? With Get Low. So you heard those everywhere, right? Because those are crossover hits. And that is what catapulted Lil Jon to the stratosphere. And he continued to ascend, right? He's still relevant, ladies and gentlemen. It is 2021. Lil Jon is still relevant in music. That is crazy to me. That is crazy how he was able to be a chameleonaire. And I know, of course, is not really doing much of crunk music anymore, but he's still relevant doing EDM, as me and Capo was talking about backstage. But during the 2000s, this brother was everywhere. Whether he was on the mic himself, if he was producing for somebody else, the brother was the go-to man for about 3 years straight. And I'm not even BSing y'all. For about 3 years straight, Lil Jon was everywhere. Everybody was going to Lil Jon for beats. Everybody was going to Lil Jon for a feature. Like, he was the man for about 3 years straight. And he ruled the South. He ruled hip hop. And the reason why that I want to recognize him on this platform is because he is a piece of that history. He is a part of a reason a lot of young rappers even today got put on to hip hop is because of Lil Jon, and mainly from my hometown city of Atlanta, Georgia. He's right. He's like I want to say the mayor, maybe the co-mayor, because we'll say Jermaine Dupri's the mayor. We'll give him that title. But if he had a co-mayor, it definitely would be Lil Jon for sure. You know what I mean? Like, maybe like the governor. I don't know what you call him, Capo. You know what I mean? Like, he got to get some kind of title. Man.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
That's your question. Who do you think, as far as right now in the city of Atlanta, who is kind of trying to bring that particular sound back with this particular generation in the city of Atlanta? That crunk style music. Good question. Who right now? John, of course,
who right now?
Which inspired by Lil Jon?
No, great question. Very rare somebody asked me a question on the platform, so I appreciate that, brother. I don't know if anybody is gonna. Well, here's the one thing about that, Capo. When you think about crunk music and bring it back, I don't know anybody that's bring the energy back. Like, that's really, really hard to emulate the energy.
Right.
But what I will say is, one of the ones, the young brother that I admire right now is Lil Baby. And I say Lil Baby because he's from Atlanta. He's authentic. He's not as crunk, I would say, as Lil Jon, but his imprint, the brother's savviness and the way that he can, and what I respect about him is him as an MC. I respect his skills on the mic. So that would be my pick, but I wouldn't say that he's bringing crunk music back. But you got to remember, Capo, I have not lived in the city of Atlanta in a very long time. So your answer is probably going to be 100% different from mine. So I'll ask you that same question, my good sir. Who do you think is bringing back crunk music in Atlanta that I am not aware of, or my audience is not aware of?
From what, of course, I've been hearing and been seeing, the only artist as far as right now, which of course another quality control artist, is Deuce Deuce. I don't know if have you heard of him?
I have not. I need to. Sounds like I need to. Yeah. Sounds like I need to. Okay, that's what's up.
Deuce. He also has a record called Crunk Ain't Dead. So he's really been dedicating all his music to bringing crunk music back. And, of course, it's dope. I definitely rock with it. But that's pretty much the only artist that I see right now that still bringing that same variation as Lil Jon. So that's why I say Lil Jon's. That's why I said music always has its cycle. Whatever started always will matriculate and come back. No different than the artist doing the old school feature on a record to kind of their breakout record or whatever a record, because they normally do that because people are familiar with the sound.
Yeah.
So and people still sample some of Lil Jon's records and things till this day. So it's like, again, Lil Jon's is more so behind the scenes outside of what he's doing, more so on the scenes as he used to be back in the day. No different than we saw Lil Jon on the on the reality TV series a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
So it's like he's on all different platforms, all different situations. So it's not just about the music. He's ascended on all different levels. Of course, what you're supposed to do in this music industry. It's not just about doing
absolutely. You cannot, and that is, and to any artist or wants to become an artist. Now, mind you, I'm not an artist. I always say that all the time, Capo. I gotta reiterate this every episode. I'm not an artist. I've never been an A&R. I've never been in the music industry whatsoever. I am just a fan, right? I'm just a fan that started a podcast about hip hop. Now, with that in mind, though, if I were to give an artist advice, it would be that: do not put yourself in a box. Be multifaceted. do different things. If you can't rap, sing. If you can't sing, write music. There's so many ways that you can influence the culture without being in front of the scenes. And that is one of the things that I wanted to zero in on that. And Deuce, if you're listening, brother, you got a new fan. I'm definitely going to be following you, checking you out, and seeing if you're bringing back crunk music back to the forefront, because that's a good look, Capo. And I'm going to shout him out and hopefully have him on the platform and come on to talk to me and talk about how he's bringing back crunk music, because I miss it. I miss it, man. I really do miss it, man. Like, it don't feel the same since Lil Jon has taken off and took that style with them. But one of the last things that I want to ask you, Capo, the general of Atlanta, I keep going back to that, man. I love that catchphrase. It's so dope, man. It's just so dope. Is a long-lasting impression. So when you think about Lil Jon's legacy, what legacy does Lil Jon leave behind for hip hop? Or is it emulated? Can you emulate what this man has done for hip hop music?
You can't. Definitely won't be any other Lil Jon. There's only one. His voice is like no other. And the things that he's done, I believe, for hip hop definitely deserves an award, regardless if you want to give it to him or not. Because he's left a stain in music.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say I'm offended. When people say, "Oh, he's messed up hip hop," I don't realistically believe that, because you got a lot of whack shit out here. If you want to say that really messed up hip hop, you feel what I'm saying?
Word.
So we let's be real technical about it. So it's a lot of whack records and shit that's playing mainstream that should not be intermingled with hip hop at all.
I 100% agree, brother. I 100% agree with that. But that's a conversation for another day. But absolutely, for sure.
but again, that talks about the evolution of music. It's always going to be a different sound. Things change, and of course, it's what the people like too as well. So, but again, Lil Jon is that guy. Yeah, that's all I can say. Period.
I agree with you, brother. And one of the turning points, and for those of you that know me, know about my relationship with the Source magazine. So I remember when the Source magazine released their rating on Crunk Juice and gave him 4 mics, and people were flipping the hell out. Oh my God, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, 4 mics from the Source magazine. So you can interpret that in one of two ways. Now we're talking about in 2004 when hip hop had, we had Jay-Z was still hot. You know what I mean? You had Nas still kind of bubbling. Kanye West was on the rise. You know what I'm saying? Bling. Yeah, bling, bling. You know what I mean? Like everything. But then here comes this guy, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, with a 4 mic album from the Source, which means from the Source community, they were like, okay, that's a dope ass album. A lot of people did not agree with that. I went back, and that's one of the albums that I actually tend to go back to out of Lil Jon's catalog is Crunk Juice. That's one of my favorite ones. So I actually agree with the rating, but a lot of individuals in the hip hop community were like, nah, man, Lil Jon, he ain't hip hop, man. This ain't right. He ruining hip hop. But I would challenge you all to think about that and where you were when you read that reading or that article in the Source magazine, because I still have it. I still possess the magazine, the article itself. And in there, they talk about how Lil Jon, to what Capo is just mentioning, he revolutionized how we listen to music, not only hip hop music, but music in general. Lil Jon just was a visionary and said, you know what? And crunk music at that time, Capo, was what? It was underground. It really wasn't a mainstream kind of thing. It was like, a kind of an Atlanta thing. But Lil Jon brought crunk music to the world. And that he needs to get credit for. He's always going to be a staple in the hip hop community. And they need to give that man their flowers today. I don't care what we're doing. I know that the Hip Hop Awards were held in Atlanta this past weekend. Nelly got his flowers. Absolutely. I get it. He well deserving. We got to give Lil Jon his as well, too, because we tend to forget how much Lil Jon has contributed to the city of Atlanta and to hip hop culture, him and the East Side Boys as well, too, man. So with that in mind, Capo, you get the last word on this, my good brother. What are your last thoughts on Lil Jon, man? You close the show out, man. Close us out, bro.
Man, my last thoughts on Lil Jon is I'm just sitting here and thinking, after Lil Jon started his wave of crunk music, how many other artists start doing crunk music? From you got the Lil Scrappies, you got the Bone Crushers, you got the Archies, you got it's so many that started that particular crunk realm. Also, of course, the record label Camp got Baby D. Yep. So it's a lot of culture with this crunk music in Atlanta. Yeah. So again, Lil Jon opened up the doorways for a lot of situations, a lot of people. And still to this day, he's relevant. I feel like he is a musical genius. That's my personal opinion. Because like I said, once you had the EDM crowd, you're on a whole different level. That's a whole different fan base.
Yeah.
Generally, even with EDM DJs versus a regular, top radio personality DJs, nobody come out to see them. These folks are selling out stadiums for one DJ.
Yes.
So if y'all don't understand the different aspects as far as DJing and the levels, there is no band. There is nobody in the background. It's only one person on stage, and that's that DJ rocking out 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people the whole time.
Yes.
So, of course, that's what Lil Jon does. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a whole different situation that's outside of what he just does, but I'm just giving examples so y'all know what's going on. And like I said, he's still playing in clubs, all aspects. If anybody's playing in this club, go to strip club, whatever club, they still playing, the folks still gonna bow their head to it. It's classic. He's part of the culture here in the city of Atlanta, amongst others. Again, he opened up a different style and variation and a gateway for the hip hop culture here, period. Just in hip hop, period, but also here in the city of Atlanta.
I would definitely agree. If there was a couple of, we talked about this on the Outkast episode, how 3000 got on the stage in 95 and said the South got something to say. That's all I got to say. That was a moment in time for not only for the city of Atlanta, but for the South. But I think as we transition into hip hop in the South, Lil Jon gets a staple on that as well, too, because Lil Jon also, like you mentioned, like you just said a little while ago, going into EDM, going into different aspects, selling out arenas, playing EDM music. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy to me, right? That's mind blowing to me how, and he's on Twitch and he's still doing shows. He's still relevant. He was on stage with Bia at the BET Awards I just watched last week. Like the man is still, he's still around. He's still relevant. And if I ever met Lil Jon in person, I'll tell that brother, look, thank you for what you've done for me, for hip hop, and for my home city of Atlanta, Georgia, man. So that's all I got for this week, you guys. And how we have been closing things out on every episode in season 4 is paying life and homage to the life and memory of Breonna Taylor. So Capo, if you could join me in a small chant for Breonna Taylor. So please put your fist up in the air for me one time. And when I say justice for, you say Breonna Taylor. We'll do it 3 times so her life and memory is never, ever forgotten. So one time, justice for
Breonna Taylor.
Justice for
Breonna Taylor.
Justice for
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace, my mom. We love you. Let your soul continue to rest. And all the others that we have lost through the social injustice. It needs to stop, man. We got a lot of work to do. But Capo is our guest today. You get the stage, my good sir. Shout out portion, man. Who your shout outs going to, big homie?
Man, I guess I want to give a shout out, of course, the one and only God, my daughter, people of the city of Atlanta. Shout out to, of course, my hometown, Atlanta, my second home, Miami. Everybody that's pretty much that I rock with. I love y'all. And I want to give a big shout out to you too, man. Appreciate this platform.
Man. Salute.
Shout out to you and your wife. Shout out to Marcy too as well. I appreciate you.
Word, man. My shout outs to you, Capo, your hip hop mind, your hip hop movement. I mean, like I mentioned, you guys, if you are an independent artist right now, you're in the city of Atlanta, and you don't know who Capo, the general of Atlanta is, you need to do your homework. Go connect with this guy. He's got some things. He's got some knowledge. Capo, we got to share knowledge with each other. We don't do it enough, man. So tap in with this dude, man. He knows what he's talking about. All right. So we definitely got that plug. I'm definitely going to be tapping into Deuce. I'm definitely going to listen to his stuff. So thank you for that plug as well, Capo. We're going to introduce Deuce to the audience also. Shout outs going to my kids. Shout outs going to the city of Atlanta. Shout out to Lil Jon and the East Side Boys for their contributions to hip hop. And shout out to everybody just staying safe and staying positive, man. I see a lot of positive things going on. We got to continue that momentum, take care of each other, be good to each other, man. And that's all I got this week. So next week, you guys, we're going back up north. We're going to talk about one of my favorite hip hop artists, the Fabolo. Y'all know the rest. We'll talk about him next week. You all be safe, be good, stay hip hop, and stay humble. All right, 100. Peace.